bitch is shaking the table.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Shaking the Table. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This week, y'all, it's probably going to be one of my favorite episodes because I have one of my new favorite people, Janay. Hi, Janay.
Hey.
So the reason I think Janay's so cool is because she wears many hats. And one of the many thousands of hats that she wears that I love, first of all, she's a wellness and holistic blogger. And sis is a yoga teacher. So you already know, if you need to get your life, I will literally hashtag link in bio. Like, I will plug her in the bio so y'all can talk to her.
Yes, I love to talk to people.
But yeah, so I definitely want to get your perspective on, since it's spring, I feel like this is like a timely topic. But talk about spring cleaning, like when it comes to your bad habits. It's particularly like bad habits that you have in like friendships and relationships with other people. And then realizing when those friendships and relationships don't serve you and sort of how you can just navigate through them and move past them in a way that's like not super confrontational and also in a way that you don't feel guilty about it. And I feel like you've lived life enough to, you know, not calling you old, but you live life enough to share that perspective with me. Because as I was telling you before, like, I have been thinking about like a lot of the shifts in my life and the major changes that are coming and major changes that have already passed. And I wanted to talk to someone that can like clarify these things and just offer me a new perspective, because I feel like when you talk to your friends about these things, you sort of get, you get like-minded perspectives, and then sometimes you get a little bit of a different perspective. But I wanted to talk to someone who, I just feel like you're on another plane, like you're on another planet. And I love that. Like really, you ground me, but then you also lift me up.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
My ultimate goal in life is to levitate. So
okay.
I believe that I have that ability. But let me just first say thank you for inviting me to be on this safe space, this public virtual space where we can connect with others and, you know that your light is bright. I keep saying this a million times. But again, I just want to say thank you for having me and inviting me here.
Of course.
Yes. So, to not sound old, I am 28. I just turned 28 in February. But that was like a huge wake-up call because I swear, like, I've been 23, 25 for like the past 3 years. And then I woke up and I was 28 and I'm like, whoa, what's happening? Like, I'm really an adult right now. But before getting to this adulthood, of course, I had to travel through, I don't know what that period is, I guess that young adult age that you, Lauren, are in currently, and your peers and friends. And I think that's why, like, I'm so, like, in tune to you right now, because I'm like, whoa, like, I feel like I'm watching me again. So just a little bit of background. During this time, 22, 23, all the way up to 25, 26, I lived in New York City. So that was, like, a big thing for me. So moving from going to college and then going straight to New York, that was like a huge thing. So I had friends that transitioned into, you know, doing graduate school, some moving to different states to pursue their degree, or just, you know, like working at home or in other states. And then there's me in another state where there's a bunch of people, different personalities, whatever the case might be. And I think the biggest question is always like, when you make those transitions, even like if you go away to college, it's like, well, how do I maintain a friendship? Like, that's always like a big thing. And sometimes it's hard. And I think we aren't very compassionate or forgiving of ourselves if we aren't able to sustain that friendship. But it's okay and it's completely natural when that doesn't happen. And so one thing that I've realized is that, like, friendships, relationships, yes, they're two-sided, but at the end of the day, we're individuals. And you hit the nail right on the head. And this is just something that I'm feeling, is that we are definitely at a time where we're being called to focus on working on ourselves, our goals, and our gifts. And there are a lot of shifts that are definitely, like, shaking us up and shifting us into uncomfortable spaces, to transition into the spaces that we dreamed and desire for ourselves. So whether that be moving into our own place, which is a huge step, or a job, of course, then we meet new people. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, am I able to have new friends, or am I being disloyal to the friends that I have? And the answer is no. There's never any love lost. But there have been times where, especially, more so specifically last year, when mainly I was going through my anxiety. I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder back in February. And then I started my first business, Yoga with Nay, LLC, in March, shortly after that. Mm-hmm. And throughout 2018, like, I basically, like, built my business from, well, I'm still building it, but it's, you know, the foundation of it was being built. But I was beginning to feel guilty that I wasn't being a good friend, and like not checking in with my friends as much, or like not being around, or just like taking the initiative to make something happen. But I brought this up in therapy because I was like, man, like, I'm a shitty friend. Like
girl, same.
Why are my friends friends with me? Like, and the thing was, she asked me, she's like, well, what evidence do you have to support that? And I was like, none. And she was like, well, then why do you think that way? And I'm just like, I just feel like I should be doing more. But what I worked through and what I came to accept is that, you know, there will always be periods of times or seasons in time that are specifically for growth that we experience individually, where our friendship may either still grow together or they may grow apart. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. And I've also realized that those who don't necessarily understand or honor that is inevitable. Like, that's that time, that there will always be times of growth and shifting, not just for the friend, you know, the opposite friend, but even for themselves. I think it's harder for people to understand, like, that's what's going to have to happen. And so either they cut themselves off, or we may have to make that healthy choice to do that because we're not in that same space to grow as friends anymore. Like, we're not vibrating on the same level anymore. So everyone can't go with you.
Yeah, I think I'm learning that too now, because, like, one thing I've noticed is that I am such a people pleaser when it comes to, like, people that are my close friends, and sometimes I get lost in that. Like, I think, I don't know if you have co-star, but like one of the oh yeah, you do. We have each other, but
we just added each other.
Right. The you know how every day they like update you with, like, it sends you a push notification of like what they want you to focus on for that day. Mm-hmm. I think it was like 3 days in a row where I got like the fact that I get lost in other people, and I was just like, hold on, Holiday, like, and I noticed that that's true. Like, I need to, and I'm especially doing this year and like moving forward, like focusing on my personal and professional growth. And so when you do that, I think you start to get a feel of like who can come with you on this journey. Yeah. And like, at first I started to get sad because I'm like, I'm noticing that certain friends are just not operating on like my level. And I don't mean to say that in a way that's like, arrogant or like egotistical at all. I'm just saying in a sense of like, when you have conversations with people, you kind of know what they're focused on in life or what their goals are. Mm-hmm. And some of my friends, it frustrates me that I'm focusing on, okay, how can I be a better woman? How can I heal from my trauma? How can I like help other people? How can I inspire other people? And some of my friends are just focused on the same like drama and like bull crap that were things that we were focusing on in college, or things that we were focusing on, like people were focused on in high school. It's just like, you're not on the same like wavelength as me anymore. And I think that feeling of guilt or that feeling of sadness is like, I shouldn't feel sad about it because the dynamic in our relationship is changing, but I do because like I love that person or those people as my friends, and I don't want to lose the friendship, but I think it's time to like put certain friendships on, I guess put it on the back burner would be a good way to say it, but like sort of just put a pause on it, or like maybe not hang out as much, because you start to feel like if you're not on this, like if you're not trying to grow, if you're not trying to be a better person, then
what are we here for?
what are we going to talk about? Because if I'm sitting here opening up myself to you, being vulnerable and telling you about the things I want to change, and you hit me with like, damn, that's crazy. Or like, if you don't have anything to offer to make it a two-way street, it's just like, I don't want to not be your friend, but I also don't want to invest and pour as much into you because I'm not getting that back. Like two-way streets from 2019 moving forward.
Right. Yeah, no, that's definitely like one thing that came up for me through my experience and even in reflection preparing for where we are right now is like just getting taken back to you being able to feel and sense and just like you can tell when you're not vibrating on the same frequency and like things aren't the same and the conversations aren't the same.
Yeah.
Like even like sometimes like if you even go around that person or that familiar space that you might hang out within, it's like you feel like you feel like you don't belong there anymore. Like it's just not. Like your body's telling you no, and that's the part that we have to become more in tune with and honoring that. And maybe early on that kind of stuff doesn't make sense because your mind is like, oh no, like I don't want to hurt their feelings, or like I don't, like you said, like I don't want to make it seem like I'm better than, because that's never the case.
Yeah.
It's just growth is real, and people definitely grow at different stages of their life, but it is hurtful and it's like it's kind of crushing because you want, like you see so much in a friend and you really want them to come along, but you can't want that more than they want that for themselves. And for me, more so like in New York, I experienced that in a relationship rather. And I was hurting myself more trying to get the person to see that, like, no, like, you can do it. Come on, take that first step. Walk. And then I thought that once that relationship ended, I thought that, okay, like, that's over. And then I moved home, and then it was the same thing with a longtime friend. And I'm like, whoa, like, what's happening? Like, I'm really not supposed to be around these people anymore. Like, something at the time I didn't know what was going on, and then when I say something specifically and truthfully, this was like my spiritual awakening. I didn't know that like that's what my spirit was trying to like just ascend from that space. Like I was vibrating higher. Girl, this can get real spiritual real quick.
No, but what was that thing you were telling me the other day about how what sort of like was a catalyst for this awakening that you were talking about? I think you said something like you noticed it when it was like different people coming in the same clothes, or what was the saying?
Yeah, I think I said mirrored relationships. Did I say that? Oh man,
yeah.
So much. Was it mirrored relationships? I have that here because I went through the text and I was pulling out some of that stuff. I hope it was mirrored relationship, but yeah, like most times, like. It gives me chills. It's like we have, and this is in every relationship, and this is how we are attracted to each other, is because we see ourselves in one another. But sometimes it can get uncomfortable or even frustrating when like our true selves begins to be reflected in that person, and it might irritate you because you're like, why are you acting like that? Why are you acting like that? When it's like the universe is trying to tell you and show you that this may be something that you either need to walk away from or you need to work on yourself, or just again shedding light and being truthful on yourself and showing you who you are or what it is that you need to let go of or move on from. It's a lot moving through like friendships because again, like I think it just kind of all comes back to like it's a lot of truth behind acceptance and truth behind how you move and navigate through friendships or relationships, because you have to look out for what's best for you. So if it's not nurturing or feeding you or both of you in a healthy way, then like what is it doing? Is it draining me is it here to teach me something? Which, most times it is. And am I going to take that and like honor that and move forward, or like am I just kind of going to block that and not receive my blessing or my growth from what this is showing me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and going back to the whole mirroring thing, I actually saw like a Twitter thread about this, and I was trying to find it as we were talking, but I can't. So basically, they were saying like one of the girls commented and was saying her relationship with herself was unhealthy, and so the relationships that she had with other people sort of mirrored that. So like if she had a friend that was like really, really jealous, and the jealousy like completely annoyed her, she was like, well, do I have that characteristic in myself? And then she was like, wow, like just being introspective, I've learned that like there are some jealous tendencies that I do have, and I don't know why I have that. And so I'm trying to work through those feelings in therapy. And I was just like, hold on now, because I have been attracting people that like are emotionally unavailable. And I'm like, am I doing that because I'm emotionally unavailable? Like, do I need to sit on the therapist's couch because I will book a session?
Look, and sometimes, I feel you because, girl, this takes me right back to my New York days. I remember, this is after my relationship, and this is when, I don't know if you remember, but Michael B. Jordan, like, had this interview, I think it was GQ, I forgot what year specifically, where he was just like, I'm emotionally unavailable, like, I'm not going to be in a relationship until I'm 30, blah, blah, blah. So I actually made a YouTube video, and I'm like, yes, I'm emotionally unavailable, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hella pumped. I mean, that was a great year for me, but then, like, once I think I moved back home, and then, like, things started to be different, and I'm like, okay, cool. Well, then, like you said, I started meeting other people who were then like emotionally unavailable, and I'm like, well, do I want to avail myself to be emotional now? Because
no, facts. Now I'm like, dang, if I meet another person that's just like, I'm meeting so many mirror people, and it's scary. Like, I'm meeting people that's like, oh, I've been hurt a lot. I have trust issues. I don't trust people. Like, I'm closed off, and I'm like, hold on now. Hold on, Holiday. Hold on, Holiday.
The universe responds to, like, and it definitely aligns us with those kind of people. And I I'm just thinking out loud now, like, I feel as though that maybe in order to maybe enhance or move forward from attracting those that we mirror so closely is like saying like, maybe I want to be this for now for myself, but I want to seek relationships or connect in relationships or friendships that is able to teach me this.
Yeah.
Like, I want this person to have more of that than what I have so that I may learn. But sometimes it's kind of like a negative and a negative magnet where like you repel against each other, where it's like, okay, like, am I able to turn myself around so that we can magnetize together? Am I willing to be the one mindfully within myself to observe this friendship for what it is and see the lessons and what it is and take what it's trying to teach me for myself and apply that? Or then do I want to just like kind of just be in it and not grow from it?
I need to get away from that in a way. Like, I think I just need to start saying, like you said, like start saying, okay, this is what I need, or this is like what I want in a friend. This is what I want in a future partner or whatever. Like, I need to start saying that stuff, because me saying 1,000 times that I'm not ready to be vulnerable, I'm not open, I'm not this, I'm not that. Like, me constantly saying all those negative things is like, the universe heard me and is snatching me by my wig every single time I meet a new friend or I meet a new like person that's interested in me, whatever. Like, it's just so annoying. And that's what I get.
Negative, I know that like we often like go around negative and positive, and sometimes like this stuff just is. And it, again, like we can just take it as it is, and if we want to be deliberate, like the universe is just it's a play, it's a playground. So we literally, how we manifest things and how we want to seek the things that we desire or bring to reality that we dream or desire, we can do the same thing as far as relationships.
Yeah.
So in that essence, like, still work your magic. Just call what it is that you want to attract, and if you're willing and ready again to like be the one to learn, like I said, like rise above what is actually going on in the friendship and just kind of like be the observer and be like, okay, like this is what I can take from it. Because if you're not able to learn from what is being sent your way, it's going to come back again in some other shape or form. And like you said, I don't know if I said it earlier in the text, but it will come back in different clues until we get it. And that lesson might be for us, not that person. And if we keep being like, oh, I'm annoyed, blah, 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 like, no, let me learn from this. What is this trying to teach me? We got to shift our perspective. What is this trying to teach me? What is this person trying to show me? And, yeah, move on from that.
Yeah, definitely. So now I kind of want to transition to spring cleaning relationship questions. So basically this came from a Twitter user. I think it's supposed to be like Mariah Carey with a P. I thought that was clever. Yeah, so basically she was saying how she was reading some commentary from Bell Hooks. I'm blanking on the name. But she basically wrote or typed out 4 sets of questions on like how to reevaluate your friendships and relationships with people. And I thought that this would be perfect for us to discuss since we're talking about like spring cleaning. Yeah. And so the first question she said was, will we still have a good relationship if I didn't reach out first? And I think that goes back to me talking about like one-sided friendships. And I talked about this in another episode too. Like I've noticed that like with certain people, I just keep reaching out. And I understand people have like, I went through like several depressive episodes in college and post-grad or whatever. Like I do have anxiety and I get busy and stressed some days. But I think the difference is the fact that I like still try to reach out to people. Like even if I'm having a bad day, if I know that you and I are like close friends and we can laugh and joke or whatever, like, you know, sometimes you just call people just to lift your spirit. But like if you're constantly reaching out to someone and you're like, they're being really dry with you or they're making it seem like they don't want to talk to you, I think that that's when you need to reevaluate the friendship. Like, okay, I'm tired of this one-way street, you know?
Yeah. I know that, like, that, I kind of feel like, all right, so I have to, like, be truthful. Like, I feel like I'm one of those friends that don't always reach out. And that's partly because, like, just like the way that my mind is sometimes is just like, and I'm trying to, like, I 100% am trying to be better, but I don't ever want to be that friend where I'm like not reaching out. I might take a little bit longer, but like I'll get around to it, but sometimes it's like hard for me to like pull out of tunnel vision, which again I'm working on. But I know that like that it is tough because you don't. There could be clear signs where it's like, okay, clearly, like I am the only one that's putting effort into this, and you don't want to waste your time, and like clearly the signs are saying like this person isn't responding, or like they got something else going on, and I just feel like that could be taken with your own discernment on like how you want to either move away from that to just like I don't want to say save like anything's wrong, but just kind of like, you know, I'll just say save, to like save yourself from the wasted effort or like the high hopes. And I don't know, like, that one's hard because it's just like so much is going on right now where it's like, it's hard to always be in contact with people, but it's also very important that you do it too. And so, yes, I would want a friend to like reciprocate that back to me. Yeah. That's all I have on that one. I just know that I'm working on that myself, and that's all I can say is that I'm trying to be better at that.
No, I feel you. I think that there's that perspective too, but I think the emphasis on it is like you put emphasis on the good relationship, because there are some friends that like I don't talk to every day, but when I talk to them, it's like, you know, it's nothing. It's back to normal. So I think that with that question, like if you're ever in a situation, for the people that's listening, like if you're ever in a situation where you ask that question, like put emphasis on the good relationship, because just because you don't talk to somebody every single day doesn't mean that they still don't care about you. Like, they don't care about you, that they don't love you, that they don't have love for you, that they don't respect you or anything like that. Like, they don't want to be around you. It's just, you know, we all get caught up. Like, we just talked about our own professional and personal growth. And it's like, you know, if you're constantly communicating with everybody. Yeah. And it may be hard to communicate every single day, but if it's good, it's good.
Right. And like you said, like, most of my friendships, especially because I do travel a lot, like, or my friends know how my life is. Like, I really do be in space sometimes. I really be traveling. But we have that relationship where at the end of the day, we can come back at any time and it's still solid. Like, it's nothing. And I think maybe that kind of comes with age, and when you know that your friendship is solid, like, you know that you don't have to question.
Yeah, maturity.
I think that's probably why it's hard for me to, like, express that, because I don't know, like, I think the friends that I have, like, we just kind of move differently, where, like, we honor and we give each other space, but we're able to also come back and check in, and it doesn't have to be like a long, elaborate text. And I just texted a mentee today after thinking about him for weeks, and I'm like, let me when I think about somebody, I need to be better and, like, impulsively text them right then and there, because I'm like, oh, I thought, like, I'm thinking about you.
That's me at 2 a.m. Like, hey, remember that one time you did this and it was so funny and you made my day because I was really sad, so I love you. And people are like, what the fuck is 3 a.m.?
Right. But I don't know. I always have my friends in my heart, and but don't ever feel like if you don't hear from a friend, like, that means that shit's going bad, or like they don't love or respect you the same way. But definitely check in on them. And I guess now may be the perfect time to share the tweet/post that EXO Nicole posted, where she said, there's nothing more suffocating than being a strong friend who's lost their strength. And sometimes that's also the case where, like, if you are the one that also texts out first, and you just don't have that mojo to do it anymore, then, like, you would have hopes that maybe someone would reach out. But if not, then, you know, like, it's nothing but love. But that shouldn't stop you from also reaching out either.
Yeah, that's a good way to wrap that one up, too. And then the next question, how do I feel after we hang out? And I saw, this one was interesting, because a lot of the replies were saying how, like, some people cut their friends off because they felt really drained after they talked to them. And I've noticed that a lot of my friends who I have talked about this topic with have said, like, we do this thing where we ask people, like, are you emotionally available, like, to talk about this? Like, is there anything pressing on your heart that you would rather talk about first? And then I can talk about, like, me doing that and creating that, like, setup in a way it has helped in conversations more, because, like, just like I said in the first episode, I would just call people and just unload, and then not even say, oh, well, how are you doing today? Or, like, how's that thing you've been really excited about at work? Or did you finish the project that you said you were going to do on the side? Like, instead of asking people about them, I just unload it. And I think that a lot of people probably were like, dang, all she does is complain, or, like, all she does is just be negative.
Like, can you give me a disclaimer? No, that's real. And one of the things that I had was, like, boundaries. And I guess that might go hand in hand, is, like, to encompass all of that. That's personally what I'm working on, is boundaries and establishing those boundaries, especially as a healer. And this is my first time publicly, like, really saying that I'm a healer, although, like, I've personally accepted that. But, like, I'm beginning to, like, see that I'll have, like, those like you said, those unsolicited, like, dumps, and I'm like, whoa, like, I didn't even act, like, what? Like, I'm not even like, I haven't even done my morning ritual yet. Like, I'm not together right now.
Yeah.
And, like, more than likely, it probably won't get replied back to into a minute. But then I start to feel bad, because then I'm like, well, I want to make sure they're okay, but, like, I'm not okay yet. So how can I gotta put my air mask on before I can help the next person? So.
Oh, that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah, that's what they tell you on the airplanes, girl.
Wow. No, but I'm just saying, like, that to apply that metaphor to your friendships in relationships is like, girl, I'm tweeting that after we do this. But that's so true.
It's really true. It's just, you know, and with establishing boundaries, it's like you have to communicate effectively and bluntly and honestly so that the person can get it, in hopes that they'll honor that, and hopefully in them honoring and understanding and accepting that you have boundaries, that may help the friendship also flourish. But then again, like you said, making those what's the word I want to use? Like maybe those thresholds where you can those checkpoints. I want to say checkpoints. Those checkpoints where, like you said, like let me just see if they're first mentally okay to have this conversation before I jump. If they're emotionally available to do this, how their day is going. Are they receptive? Whatever. Because we want to make sure that everyone is good. Like we don't want that this relationship to be one-sided, and I'm like holding my hands like a seesaw because that's too much weight on one side. We want it to be even.
Agreed. And that and the next part of that question actually too, because we are sort of intertwined. Number 2, number 3. It says, "Have I established healthy boundaries with you? And if so, do you respect them?" Because I thought about her just leaving it at the first part, like have I established the boundaries? But I think it's also important to say, do you even respect the ones that I've set?
Yes.
Girl!
My notes say boundaries not being honored because, look, somebody be like, okay, they receive it, but they might not practice it, or they might not be like, you know, like think that you're serious about it, and it's like, no, like I'm being dead ass right now, like I need some space, or like, you know, on this days I'm unavailable, or like, you know, can we not talk about this at this time, or can we talk about this after this time? You know, like we want to, again, like we just want to make sure that in a friendship everyone is being served well, equally.
Yeah. And I think going off of the boundaries thing is, for me, to my closest friends, maybe I need to have a whole different episode about boundaries, but for me, my closest friends, I have a hard time of saying no.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, if we're in this friendship, in this bond, and we've already established that we would do anything for each other, for me, it's like, if you really need me to stay up till 4 a.m. to drive you to the airport, I guess I could. That's the least I could do. And then it goes from that to like, it just keeps extending and extending and extending and extending. I'm cool if it's reciprocal, but I'm not cool if I'm literally going out on a limb for you.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me a time that you did that back. Unless it was a group effort. You know what I'm saying? Like if you in a group planning me a surprise birthday party or something, you know what I'm saying? Like that's one thing. But like if I'm literally like constantly going the extra mile for you and you won't even give me a yard, like,
yeah, no, we don't want that.
Can't do it.
I don't have anything to add on that.
No, I said what I said.
I don't even have like an extra meter to add because that's just as blunt as that can be.
Yeah.
Like you don't like, yeah.
And what's interesting for me is like it's so easy for me to set boundaries with like if I'm talking. Well, I don't want to say talking because you know it's 2019 and dating is different now. You can't say talk, whatever. If I'm communicating with a man, it's easy for me to be like, all right, this is what I don't want. This is what I don't have time for. But with like friendships, I'm not like that. And I don't know why. It's like two different Lows that show up. Like Lo is showing up to these men's and Lauren is showing up to my friend because I'm like, oh no, it's fine. You can have my kidney. I only need one. Like, but if a man asks me literally like for anything, I'm like, no.
No, I feel you on that one. I don't know. Maybe it's the type of, I want to say maybe respect that we have towards our friends, where it's like, okay, like maybe this person needs me, or like, does she have anybody else? Maybe she doesn't have anyone else to like help them at this time. So like we may feel like the pressure is on us, but I don't think like going through a friendship feeling like you have to do something, but that's yourself telling you like you have to to do that when you don't have to do anything, you know? So, like, you can definitely exercise your right to say no. No isn't going to hurt anything, and it doesn't mean that there's no love lost. It's just no.
Yeah.
I'm also practicing no. I think I'm getting better, but, like, I'm also coming across more people, especially older people, that are like, I was talking to my aunt, and she's like, I'm saying no more, and it feels good. I'm like, good.
No, it really does feel good when you learn that no. It feels good. I think me being around like specific friends that need to learn how to say yes. I think learning that, like, just seeing how they do it and how, like, people still, you know, eat out of the palm of their head. I'm like, shoot, let's trade off some days. Like, the days that you say no, let me say yes. Like,
yeah, and that just exercises your authority as well. And of course, you know, my thing is compassion. Like, of course, like, you want to be compassionate about it, and how, if the person takes it and receives it a different way, then that's not your fault either. Because, I mean, I feel like, of course, when we do begin to enforce our boundaries or our no voice, sometimes it like the receiving person might clutch their pearls and be like, "You talking to me?"
yeah.
I said no. You know, I said no to you, and I'm going to stand by that. And yeah, like that's that. And you don't have to explain yourself either. And that's like another thing. Like, I'm learning. It's like, girl, please, you don't got to explain yourself about how you move out here to nobody.
Okay. And then the last question, since they all kind of relate, which is so easy to like build upon. It says, how do we show up for each other? Is it balanced? Goes back to the one-sided, goes back to the you don't respect my boundaries, goes back to the it's not reciprocal, like.
Yeah, definitely all of those. How do you respect, not putting, I think we kind of touched on that, but I put like not putting, dumping weight or like putting weight or like even like triggering people's anxieties or even like projecting things on people, which I've come through my experience. I think especially with going through my anxiety last year, was just like I was feeling a lot of that coming from like certain friendships, and I was like, whoa, like, well, first I recognized it within myself. I was like, whoa, I feel like I may be projecting my anxiety onto a friend. And when I began to like receive that back, I was like, whoa, that doesn't feel good. So then that made me more inclined to like have, if I were to feel my anxiety, to like not run and like use my friend as a crutch, be like, oh my god, like blah blah blah, and they're like, wait, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to like make sure like I'm good or whatever, but definitely trying to like have that healthy balance within that.
I think for me, something that I think about a lot is the whole crutch thing that you just said about like using your friends as a crutch. I think that I am so ruled by emotions sometimes that I have started to like not rely on my friends for like decisions regarding my emotions. Like, I've learned to just kind of take a step back and look at it objectively, and like I write down my feelings sometimes. I'm like, okay, this happened to me this way, like almost in a flow chart way. Like, this happened to me this day. These are the emotions I feel, whether it's like, oh, I'm feeling sad or I'm just feeling low or whatever. Just try to find a way to describe it and then sort of work through it, like almost solution based, as if I was just like solving a problem.
And I think that's really good. I like that you said that you kind of like, you dissect that in a flow chart. That's really cool. I'm gonna have to take that little tip.
Yeah, girl.
Not everyone, is equipped to do that.
Yeah.
So, and I think maybe, again, falling back on compassion, is sometimes like helping those friends who don't necessarily know how to process those heightened emotions, and they may project or trigger their anxiety and put it on us. It's like, let me maybe help you redirect this one back to you, so that maybe I can help you try to work through this versus you maybe having a temper tantrum, or just like, and like, our friends, they have different ways of expressing their emotions, whether it be anger or like hurt or whatever, and sometimes it might be too much for us at one time, but like as a friend, we want to help them, but to make it healthy, again, it comes back to looking out for ourselves. Like, if it's draining me, I don't want that to drain me. So my best thing is to try to, again, like, redirect it back to you to try to help you versus, like, you just, like, putting it on me and leaving it there.
Yeah, and that's all you can do is help people, like, through their problems instead of, because, like, me being so, I'm such an empath. I feel like, and that's what blows me, because it's like I don't notice that I'm taking on other people's problems, but I kind of do in a way that's like, it started to become unhealthy, and I didn't even notice it till this year of me being like, well, it's not your problem anymore, it's our problem. Let me help you work through this. And in that, I was neglecting, like, my own mental health and my own emotions and stuff like that. And since then, okay. And then since then, I was like, you know what I'm going to start doing is asking people, like, to step back and do the same thing that I do. And if it doesn't work for them, obviously we can work through it. We can figure out, like, what is the best way that you will be able to receive that message, and then, you know, go about your business how you need to go about your business. Because a lot of my friends, like, when I say stuff like that and I'm super objective about, like, how they're handling their emotions and tell them to take a step back, they take that as me, like, not caring or me, like, being nonchalant. But I'm like, no, it's just me saying, okay, let's sort out, because feelings are facts, yes, but, like, sometimes you have to sort through that and say, like, is this feeling justified? Because sometimes we get so caught up in our emotions and get so, like, upset about things. And if we ask the other person how it went, it didn't go like that for them. And it's a lot of, like, different miscommunications that escalate. And so that's why I tell people, like, okay, so see it from this perspective, see it from that perspective. Like, let's go through all the different perspectives in a way that your message could have been received to cause this outcome. And then people sit back and they're like, oh, yeah, like, makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's a really good approach. And as you were talking about that, like, I'm thinking, like, on the flip side of things, like, you know, you don't want to enable your friends. You don't want to, like, have misery loves company. And, like, at this point, like, going with the drama and, like, moving above that, like, I don't want to be invited to your pity party. Like, I'm here to help you work through this, and I'm also here to, like, help guide you through this. But, you know, I'm here as support, but you're going to have to do the work at the end of the day.
Yes.
And I'm not going to, like, you know, I don't know if you want a hype man to, like, cheer you on about the drama, but, like you said, you know, helping them see the different perspectives of the situation or whatever it might be is also a good approach, because there's so many sides to everything. And you don't want them to you don't want that level of dependency on you.
Yeah.
We move on from friendships, because breaking up with friendships are real. That's a real thing. Not just relationships. Breaking up with friends are real. And I've had one of my beloved soul sisters help me out at, like, this divine time where I was in a situation and, like, it just, with another friend, and I just was like, like, I don't know how to handle this, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, it's so funny because I'm in the same situation, and I just came across this article about how to have difficult conversations with friends. And I'm like, whoa, that's, as Lauren would say, tea. But when breaking up with friendships, like, we have, like, that is a difficult conversation, and because it's so real, we don't want to hurt our friends, but it kind of goes back to the whole establishing boundaries. Either you're going to make it clear or you're not going to make it clear. But in moving on from friendships, you want to come with an open heart. First and foremost, like, don't come in here like, well, you did this and da-da-da-da. Like, no, like, can we come as adults, because we want to leave that space open for growth to happen. Like, just because we're saying that this isn't a good time now doesn't mean that it can't be a good time later. So retreat peacefully, don't have any bad blood, see the friendship for what it is, without any attachments. And I don't mean, like, attachments as friendships, but don't label what's going on, whether, you know, it's drama or just, like, you know, how the friendship is presenting itself for you to move forward or make these healthy or difficult decisions for you to make. Don't put any attachments on it. Just see it as for what it is. Is this a learning opportunity? Is this just an opportunity for me to release my friend? Because that's also another thing. Sometimes we gotta let friends go. Mm-hmm. We have to let friends go, and sometimes our friends have to let us go. I don't know how many times I've prayed for a friend to let me go, because I'm like, look, I've let you go, and I need you to let me go, because clearly you're still holding on to me, and nah. And then moving forward, don't gossip about it. Don't be feeding into no unnecessary energy to other friends. Don't waste your time, like, telling other people, like, oh, this is what happened, and if you're going to speak on it, speak the truth. But if you don't need to speak on it, don't speak on it, because if you really cherish and honor that friendship, then again, you would just see it as what it is, and that opportunity to grow, or whatever that space is presenting itself for you to do, and just move with it. Don't keep beating a dead horse. Like, don't keep putting that quote unquote negative energy in it, or just unnecessary energy that's just not needed. Just, it's gone, release it, move on. And then most importantly, having these difficult conversations, or making these difficult choices and moving on from a friendship, or breaking up from a friendship, is expressing forgiveness to yourself. Because I know in this process it is hard. You may feel as though this might not be the right decision, or you might be hurting this person, blah, blah, blah. All of these feelings and remorse and guilt might come up, and don't put that on yourself. Don't put that on yourself. Express gratitude for what the relationship, the friendship has given you in its time. Mm-hmm. And yeah, move on from it and accept that that's what it is, and forgive, and just move forward. Yeah, it could go in so many ways. I had another topic on expectations too. That's a tricky one, because like, sometimes people, I think we all may have like our quote unquote expectations of what we have for a friend, but sometimes mm-hmm. those quote unquote expectations aren't clear or known. So that may either make us feel a way if say if I have an expectation for you to be like, okay, like, you won't call me every week, and like, because I was on your podcast once, we won't be on this podcast every week. You ain't say that, but I'm sitting here like putting that expectation, and then when that doesn't happen, then I'm feeling a way towards you, because you're not meeting that expectation that I put on you. And that's the thing, like, don't try not to put so many expectations on friends, because they might not be able to fulfill that. So in the end, you're disappointing yourself. So don't do that. You don't want your disappointment to be projected on them, and they're like, "Wow, why are you acting crazy like that?" And because you didn't do this day. Well, how was I supposed to know that that's what you wanted me to do, or like that was your expectation of me? Yeah. So those are just some extra.
No, I feel that. I tell my Nana that all the time, because she's such a loving and giving person that she expects everybody to love the way that she loves. She expects everybody to give what she gives. And it's like, that's understandable. Like, you deserve to be loved. You deserve to be treated like, the kind, sweet person that you are. But you also have to understand that, like, by you putting those expectations on your friends, your family members, like close personal relationships, whatever, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Because if you just keep your expectations low with people, or you like communicate them effectively, like, this is what I need from you, this is what I need from the situation. If you do that and the people will like still, continue to treat you the way you don't feel like you deserve to be treated, that's one thing. But if you're not communicating with all, and you just expect them to do that, you'll be disappointed every single time.
Every single time. Yeah, and it's just not worth it. And I wrote, when I like wrote that out, it's just like, I just wish that we could just leave that out, because they're so heavy, and expectations can come in so many forms. And one of the biggest things for me, as far as like expectations, like I kind of like, especially last year with my anxiety, because I think what my therapist told me was that one of my my characteristics of my anxiety was trying to be in control. And so like that also came with expectations of like how I wanted my parents to treat me during that time and blah blah blah. But on the receiving and in friendships, I was becoming awakened to like how I was learning how people expected things from me, and I was like, well, I didn't know. And one of the like the biggest things that like made me uncomfortable that I'm still trying to figure out is like, what is support? Like how do we measure support? And like that one is so heavy for me, because now we're at this age where we have friends that are doing things creatively or whatever the case might be, and yes, we want to support them, but what if I don't support you in the same way that you support me? You know, and maybe your expectation in which you may want me to support you doesn't meet that, then you're upset, but maybe I just wanted a friend, you know, like not to say that I don't appreciate what it is that you do for me, but, you know, like just because maybe you did something for me in this way, I'm not going to return it exactly the same way in which you gave it out. Like I may return it in a different way, or I might even return it at a different time in a greater way, but I don't want you to put that pressure or expectation on me, and then like you might deem me as being a bad friend when I know that I'm not a bad friend. It's just like you kind of put me on a timeline, and that's not right. That's not fair. So yeah, expectations, try to alleviate yourself of that.
Girl, learning every day. The lower my expectations get, the less I'll be disappointed.
Okay.
Oh.
So, I wish I could roll my tongue. But I forgot my yogi tea, it has a little note on, and as I opened it, I was like, oh yes, I have to make sure I share this. And it says, when the dawn of simplicity comes in life, complications leave. Friendship should not be complicated. Okay. Things should be simple. Once you have, and this is at any point in any relationship, and when I say relationship, this is all relationships, life, it should be lived in simplicity. And once you have tasted that sense of simplicity, you don't want to go back to complication, and then you'll be able to be aware of like when things are complicated, it just shouldn't have to be this way. Like it just like I don't understand why it's draining, it's a drag, there's weight, there's projections, whatever. Like friendships are just supposed to be fun. They're supposed to, you know, help feed one another, and in whatever space and time that the universe has aligned you to serve during that time, and you know, have fun, be joyful, and then that's it. You know, don't add that extra stuff, and the stuff that you want and desire, it'll come naturally. The friends and the things that you want from people that don't necessarily come from the spaces and places that you take up where it's not being received to you, once you let that go, you will begin to receive all of those things in different forms. Like you might start meeting friends that you like. When I say like some of my most like, and this is not to downplay any of my friendships. Like I love all of my friendships and my sisters and everything, but some of like my most like strongest like fulfilling friendships are the ones that happened in the shortest. Like we haven't even been friends that long, like within like 2 to 3 years, and some of those friendships happened off of Instagram through a hashtag. Like I lied.
Really?
Yeah. Like the universe literally was just like. Like here you go, like this is the one that's here for you right now. And yeah, like just open up, just keep yourself open. Like all friends, they don't come in one size. You got a whole box of chocolate here that you can choose from, you know. So
okay with the word.
And on that I say amen.
But you know, we've been talking for a while, so I think it's time to wrap this up. But I definitely do want to continue this conversation online, so I'm going to try to find a way where people can, like, you know, just share their spring cleaning friendship, I guess, I don't want to say rules because that sounds a little weird, but just like their thoughts on how they're going to go about weeding out friendships and relationships that aren't serving them. So I would love for you to plug your socials at this time so that way people can follow you, learn a little bit about what you do, and also just reach out to you because you're sort of like this mentor, like my mirror, as we've been calling you. And so I think that I want to spread that wealth. I want to find more people that, you know, just may need a little guidance or could benefit from your positivity and your inspirational messages and stuff like that you've been sharing on socials. So go ahead and spread the wealth.
All right. So you may find me on Instagram at _Janay, and it's spelled out YAYORNAYYY. 3 Y's at the end. I also have a Twitter. It's the same handle, but I'm not really active on there at the current moment. And you can also find me on my website at yayornay.com. Same dramatic long 3 Y's.com.
Yes, and for those of y'all listening, if you haven't already, please follow us on Instagram at Shaking the Table Podcast. And don't forget to rate, review, follow, and subscribe to me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you guys. Thank you, Janay.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.